Being a parent of a child with developmental disabilities or behavioral issues can be incredibly difficult, especially if you're not getting the proper support you need. Every parent wants their child to grow up with as few issues as possible. But unfortunately, if they're born with a disability, this can be extremely tricky. Milissa Davis knows what it's like caring for a child with special needs. Her son Camden is autistic and struggles with many basic tasks that others are able to perform with ease. As a result of the additional struggles, Davis made sure she took extra time to help him succeed in as many areas as possible. At the point when Camden got somewhat more established, his mom started investigating the different instructive choices accessible for a youngster like him. She essentially needed to give him the most obvious opportunity throughout everyday life. After much research, she got some answers concerning the Hope Academy in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and was in a flash attracted to their instructive program and what they brought to the table to kids with conditions like extreme introvertedness. After a short meet and welcome, Camden was selected into the foundation, which is generally comprised of handicapped understudies. The vast majority of the understudies there have a mental imbalance, Asperger's disorder, learning inabilities, ADHD, dyslexia, and Down syndrome. Instructors are employed on the premise that they have encountered educating and administering to debilitated children or those with learning challenges. Milissa was thusly certain that her child would fit in well and be treated with the regard he merits. She figured he'd flourish at the school since they were completely furnished to work with a type with his needs. In any case, it wasn't some time before he began getting back home and ejecting in attacks of outrage at his mom, in spite of having been beforehand very much carried on. He likewise began wetting the bed during the evenings, which was unordinary for him. Milissa had an inclination that something more likely than not occurred at school for him to all of a sudden begin carrying on in the way that he had been over the most recent couple of weeks. So the concerned mother chose to research by sending him to class with a Chronicle gadget covered up in his rucksack. Sadly, those tapes wound up uncovering something really dreadful when she tuned into them by the day's end. I simply needed to cry, shout, and do all that I could in light of the fact that it was so awful, she told WBRZ. To surmise that I had sent my child there consistently. Also, what had occurred before that I didn't think about. On the Chronicles, she heard educators unfeelingly taunting her child and disparaging him in class. "We should perceive what they do with him in blank government-funded school," the instructor said on the account. "He would go to Live Oak Middle. He wouldn't make it for a moment." "Camden, why not have anything recorded? That's the reason you can't sit with anybody. Tell your mama that," she said to the 12-year-old. Linda Stone, the Essential of Hope Academy, discharged an announcement expressing that the recording contains remorseful discussions between these grown-ups. Stone guaranteed that Milissa declined to meet with Hope Academy to discuss measures they intended to present to address the issue, and after that affirmed that both the educators engaged with the episode were rejected after an inside examination. "We ask that the group not let the activities of two people think about the notoriety and the mission of our school, a mission that we've made a decent attempt to construct. We again stretch out an encouragement to meet with the parent required to talk about this occurrence further." What Camden was compelled to persist in a situation in which he ought to have been empowered as opposed to put down is completely stunning. We trust Hope Academy truly do go all the way with regards to enhancing understudy and instructor relations at the school, since it ought to abandon saying that insulted a crippled child in an instructive domain is unsatisfactory.